Good evening, glad that you are watching your channel of choice on the news tonight. Tonight, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru ditches Jubilee for Ruto's UDA.
So sisi tumeamua, tumevuka.
Political survival or the voice of the people?
Have been waiting for this moment. I have also told you, even on this other side, we have also been waiting for this moment.
Also tonight, IEBC likely to miss the 4.5 million target in the ongoing mass voter registration exercise. The youth who are among the main target have kept off the exercise.
Of course, time iko tu sawa, venye watu wengine tumeignore.
Plus, government to roll out a zero malaria campaign in 4 low-risk counties in central Kenya in a bid to achieve zero malaria cases in the country by the year 2030. Anne Wairimu is our sign language interpreter. Good evening, I'm Abubakar Abdullahi. Welcome to the broadcast. To our top story tonight, and Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru has officially ditched the ruling Jubilee Party for DP Ruto's UDA. Waiguru was received by Ruto at his current residence, accompanied by MCAs from the county. And as Elizabeth Mutuku now reports, Waiguru says she listened to the votes and the voices of her constituents.
After months of speculations, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru finally joined the UDA party ditching Jubilee. Waiguru says the move was after consultations with their constituents.
Lakini sikuwa nataka watu wafikirie tumevuka bila kufikiria. Nimesema tumeongea na wazazi, tumeongea na watoto, tumeongea na neighbors, wale watu ambao sisi tunahudumia kule chini mashinani, na wote wametuambia kuwa chama ni UDA na form ni na mpango ni bottom up, si ndio? Na sisi hapo ndipo tuko.
Flanked by at least 20 MCAs from the county boss was received by the UDA party leader, Deputy President William Ruto. The governor had recently indicated that she could ditch President Uhuru Kenyatta's camp and formally join Ruto's Hustler Nation movement. Ruto says the door is still open for those who are willing to work with the UDA party and the Hustler movement.
You have made the people of Kirinyaga proud, because we could feel the people of Kirinyaga were saying, we want to build the team that we know. We don't want to be taken to strange places. We want to work with what we have seen has succeeded. We do not want to begin a game of guesswork, not knowing exactly where we want to go. So you, Anne, and your team, it takes very courageous leaders to make serious decisions.
Waiguru, who is also seeking re-election as the county boss, had been sending signals that she would abandon the ruling party after the courts declared the Building Bridges initiative unconstitutional. Waiguru is now likely to defend her gubernatorial seat on the UDA party ticket, where she is likely to face Kirinyaga County Woman Representative Purity Ngirishi, a key ally to the Deputy President.
Message that I have been given by everybody I have talked to is that in politics, you must be very careful to stay relevant. You must be very careful to listen to the people. Because if you do not listen to the people, never imagine as a leader, you're the one who tells the people. The people are the ones who tell you.
The only place we find freedom and room to exercise our democracy is in the room called UDA. Kwa hivyo nimesema sisi wote ni watu ya wheelbarrow, sisi wote ni watu ya bottom up economy. Na hapo hatubaduki.
Sababu tukisikisa ground tunaona kila mtu ile area amerundi. Na ulipokunja Mwea hata wao walijionea. Ati watu wote wako pande. So wakati nilikuwa nakuja waliniambia kwa sababu tunajua lazima utakuwa rais. Ukiingia uwakumbuke. Tumetangazwa sana watu wa Mwea na mambo ya taito ya mchere. Tumekuwa squatters tangu tuwe watoto kutoka 1957 mpaka wa leo. So ukiingia tafadhali walisema uwakumbuke.
Tukiwa na mama yetu amekuja, amerudi nyumbani, alikuwa tu ametembea kidogo. Lakini sasa ako nyumbani. Na sasa nyumba iko complete. Na nyumba ikiwa complete, jua ya kwamba siasa ya Mount Kenya tukitaja Kirinyaga tutanyorosha vizuri.
Others eyeing the seat include NAK Kenya party leader Martha Karua. Elizabeth Mutuko, TV47.
Now, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru has had a long walk to political freedom. Her plans to exit the ruling Jubilee began after the 2018 general election. Plans she has been shelving not once, not twice, but every time she thought of doing the unthinkable. Her masters pressing her on the darkest moments at the helm of the devolution ministry, awakening the NYS ghosts for the first-time governor. But as Musa Salah now reports, her relationship with DP Ruto in particular can only be described as sweet and sour.
Deputy President William Ruto's political association with Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru can only be termed as the perfect definition of a love-hate symbiotic relationship.
Please give us a break, my friends. You know, Kiingereza mingi mnafanyia catwalk hapa around, na ni wazi pesa ya umma imepotea. Mwenye hiyo pesa anasema aliweka kwa gunia. Sasa jameni, kweli dunia hii, you know, we must be honest with ourselves.
That statement was at the height of the multi-million shilling scandal at the National Youth Service after Ruto's several previous defenses of Waiguru, who at the time as Devolution Cabinet Secretary was caught up in the 791 million shilling scam that eventually cost her a plum job. The two, however, eventually made up after Ruto's 2017 re-election alongside President Uhuru Kenyatta, the second in command attending her inauguration as Kirinyaga governor. They soon fell out after Waiguru shifted allegiance to former Prime Minister Raila Odinga following the handshake between Kenyatta and Odinga in 2018. But as it turns out, it would not be for long.
I said it before, I will say it again. You can rent a Kikuyu, but you cannot buy a Kikuyu. Bottom line, they will still vote for their own people. They know what is good for the region and they will stand with the region.
Waiguru, who is touted to be just the precursor to the exit of more Kenyatta Mount Kenya allies into Ruto's fold, has had it rough in crossing over to Ruto's new political vehicle that she says has taken the country by a storm.
Tumeongea na neighbors, wale watu ambao sisi tunahudumia kule chini mashinani, na wote wametuambia kuwa chama ni UDA na form ni na mpango ni bottom up. Sindio? Na sisi hapo ndipo tuko.
The NYS ghosts have come to haunt the Kirinyaga governor, her handlers reporting to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission EACC to record statements on her involvement in alleged misappropriation of county funds, a routine that the county boss has termed as a political witch hunt and which pundits claim could follow Waiguru to her new political party.
As I said, this is just an issue of harassment. It is intimidation. It is political. And they wanted this picture of you people here and me here because of politics.
Waiguru is, however, expected to have it rough in UDA at the party primaries as she battles it out with Kirinyaga woman representative Purity Ngirishi, who has expressed interest in the county's gubernatorial seat.
Na sababu wamekuja wakati ni late kidogo, mimi kama ambaye nitasimama governor katika hiyo chama, I am asking them wakuje, wakuwa wapole, tutaenda nominations na mimi niko tayari kumenyana na wale.
Musa Salah, TV 47.
Elsewhere, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, is likely to miss its target in the ongoing mass voter registration exercise. However, many youth have turned away from the exercise over, among other reasons, lack of civic education. Paul Kirobi has the details.
The Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission had planned to conduct mass voter registration in 2 phases, but due to budget constraints, the Commission says it might be forced to conduct just 1 phase, which is ongoing. The Commission has been pleading with the government to consider increasing its funding to enable it adequately prepare for next year's general election. Chairman Wafula Chebukati said operations in the 30-day enhanced continuous voter registration across the country has been affected by low budgetary allocation from the National Treasury. However, lack of civic education has been termed as one of the reasons many youth are yet to register.
Wengi hatuna maidi. Tulishika maidi lakini imekaa dray. Wengine hatuchageti hizo, tumengotea sana. Wengi wetu hatuna na hizo ma identity cards hatuna. That's the main reason I can say for my youths.
The electoral body had planned to place registration centers in learning institutions, though many institutions are yet to receive the materials.
I don't think they have done enough civic education because, like in our area, I've not seen those guys educating the people. Like me, I heard about the voters' education from my lecturer. So you can imagine the common mwananchi out there who has no lecturer to tell them. So I think it's a disadvantage, and they are not adding up to their game.
The IBC is also failing a little bit on that because they're supposed to be doing that in every institutions, probably because these students, we have many youths who are schooling right now, and if the IBC cannot find ways on how to register them in their campuses, then I think most youths are not going to register.
Chebukati said general voter apathy was also a cause of concern, and the culture of last-minute rush where Kenyans go for exercises when deadlines approach. The Commission targets to register 6 million new eligible Kenyans on the basis of information from Kenya National Bureau of Statistics 2019 Kenya Population and Housing Census Report.
Mimi sijajiandikisha kama mpiga kura cause kulingana na venye economy inatupeleka siwezi jiandikisha. Kwanza watengeneze mambo ya economy alafu watuambie tujiandikisha kuhusu kupiga kura.
Sijajiandikisha kupiga kura. Kitu inafanya sijajiandikisha mazee, mambo ya violent imekuwa mob sana, inafanya kunakuwa na uoga. Mimi ni msaliwa hapa, si ati nimejua kwetu ni wapi. Mimi nimejua kwetu ni Naivasha, but Amaluo na sijui wasasi ni wakina nani.
Usipochukua kura huwezi kulalamika baadaye kwamba kuna viongozi ambao wameingia katika wadhifa wowote bila kupata nafasi ya kutoa uamuzi wako.
The third week saw IEBC register 800,462, contrary to its target of 4.5 million voters by week 3 of the exercise. Nairobi County still topped the list after registering 71,557 by Monday evening, contrary to the target of 732,568. Followed closely by Kisii County, which registered 30,729, contrary to the target of 178,683. Kiambu County registered 25,427, contrary to a target of 353,367, while Kisumu County registered 23,568, contrary to 175,847 target. Paul Kirobi, TV 47, Nairobi.
Moving on, National Assembly Speaker and presidential hopeful Justin Muturi has expressed his displeasure with other presidential hopefuls sympathetic to individuals facing graft charges. Muturi spoke while in Nyeri County, where he and other DP party officials met with a section of grassroots leaders as he continued with his consultative forums in the preparations of his presidential bid.
I will be
vying for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya on the Democratic Party of Kenya tickets. Therefore, today's meeting is to consult and to get informed about the issues that affect the ordinary people, so that we get fully aware and seized of them, so that as we come up with programs, they are programs that address those concerns of the people. It cannot be that people who have issues at council, people who have court cases, corruption cases, are voting with the presidential candidates. If you have court cases and I'm vying for the presidency, but you will not, when you have leaders wako na kiburi, kujipiga kifua, and people don't want, ukipewa kazi ya serikali, unafikiri umefunguliwa biashara. We must tame the runaway corruption in this country.
Well, in a bid to curb hunger in the country, the government has extended the Hunger Safety Nets program that is set to benefit various schools in the 23 counties affected by drought. Speaking during the food distribution exercise in Baringo County, government spokesperson Cyrus Oguna said the government has disbursed 2.4 billion shillings to sustain the program.
Kwa hivyo ukiangazia mambo serikali imeweka mbele kwa kuweza kupunguza makali ya njaa ama makali ya ukame, utakuta kwamba kuna chakula serikali inatoa, kuna hunger safety na chakula serikali inazidi kuendelea nayo, kuna inua jamii, kuna pia school feeding program. Kwa hivyo kuna miradi nyingi ambazo serikali imetoa kuweza kusaidia kupunguza makali ya njaa.
Hapa natocha sisi hiyo chakula hiyo chakula natocha sisi kilo moja hiyo. Hiyo ni kilo moja hiyo unga hiyo. Kilo moja totocha nini? Hakuna kitu natocha sisi. Kiliko kikaa afadhali ende tu tangatanga tu, alafu ndio watoto apate kukula. Ipate mboga nunua 50. Enda zunguka hapa tauni, alafu watoto apate kukula.
Hakuna mkubwa wetu yuko hapa hivi akutuokoa sisi, atukusema ni chakula kama sasa hivi imeletwa hii kidogo hii. Metosha sisi wote. Wengine ndio wanasimama. Haya. Mimi nimepata sikatai. Jirani nitaenda chote wewe kidogo na ndia kwa uhakishe nayo. Iko mvua imekuja. Atukumbuke rais huyu, atukumbuke.
Well, from Baringo County, you are watching the county's television, TV47 News Tonight. Time for us to take a short break. Stay with us.
Oh, hi guys. Sorry, you found me 5 minutes before I started recording, but anyway, so most of you have been asking me why I started Ladies CLC Nighting with Joy Rongo. I have also had my own share of pain. I know how it feels to want to give up. This is basically here to speak hope and inspire somebody who's going through a rough patch, to tell them that they can turn their pain into power. Our guests are normally here to share their experiences so that you can know somebody else did it, so you can also come out of it stronger and better. Let me go to my recording, and remember to always stay tuned every Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
Undertaking husband duties on a boyfriend tender.
Guys, with bromance, do you share your woman with the bro?
Have a sister? Give me your sister. I show you how these things are done.
So you go release and be like,
Men supporting each other, not only financially, but also socially.
Don't mingle with women you can't deal with.
Is there really a formula for dating and marriage?
Some men are procreational, some men are recreational.
Every Wednesday on TV47, the Men's Conference brings you a cocktail of top-notch advice to breed alpha males or alpha females in the society.
Tunaweza tumeite nje tutesiwe do. Mimi naitwa Ben. Mimi ndo rafiki ya babako.
Tumeleta dozi zako usimize mtoto.
And now we have to deal with a drug addict.
Yaani ulio mzai wako. I had to.
Sema! Dozi zangu ziko wapi?
Ben! Tuisheni Uganda.
The road to 2022 is becoming tougher and trickier with each passing
with
day.
us, let's get to more news. And it's now emerging that there was lack of an implementation plan and an audit report on how the 6.5 billion shillings allocated under the 8-point economic stimulus program were utilized by the Ministry of Education. This is according to a report launched by the Constitution and Reform Education Consortium, who conducted a study from May 2021. Take a look.
For the better part of 2020, officials from the Ministry of Education were crisscrossing the country in a bid to ensure facilities were set, ready to receive learners who are forced to continue learning during the pandemic. The ministry had received 6.5 billion shillings under the 8-point economic stimulus package, whose purpose was to hire 10,000 teachers and 1,000 ICT interns to support digital learning as well as improve school infrastructure, including acquisition of 250,000 locally fabricated desks. But according to a study conducted from May 2021 by the Constitution and Reform Education Consortium, there was lack of an implementation plan and an audit report on how the 6.5 billion shillings was utilized.
Even if we have this pandemic, these resources that have been deployed to our schools, our institutions of higher learning, should it really be used to enrich few individuals who are in positions of responsibilities, or it should be used to facilitate access to learning for this child, regardless of the background?
There is a need for the Ministry of Education to use various channels that are accessible to the members of the public to share information on the funds it has received from the government, the interventions and the impact that those interventions are making need to be publicly available.
The report also noted that the current funding to schools is inadequate.
We are worried in what will happen in 2023, where the last cohort of 844 and the first cohort of the CPC will be transitioning to the secondary. We should even address the challenges as they are now. So the social distancing, somebody said, is a nightmare. That as it is now, that cannot be adhered to.
Look at this child, whose mask is never changed the whole term. And those are realities that we have in our schools. This mask has been overwashed. It has even some kind of, not necessarily even transparency, but one part of the nose is just exposed. And you have this child sitting in the same class with a child whose mask is changed on a daily basis. Is it cementing equality or expanding inequality?
And we're not only questioning that about the national government CTF funds, but we are also questioning other funds that we've received. And we're not also only thinking about Kibra and Dagoretti South constituencies, but what about other constituencies? Were the funds different? Were the results different? And what do we use this information to make changes in society?
The study was piloted in 2 parliamentary constituencies of Kibra and Dagoretti, where challenges such as achieving social distance and wearing of masks were recorded.
Round, you put one eye,
Digital learning was also not successful due to factors such as lack of basic online learning ICT policy, inadequate capacity of teachers on the application of remote learning platforms, and how learners will be assessed virtually, lack of ICT gadgets and technology network for most of the parents and learners.
Look at the child from Lamu. They wanted sanitizer and masks. So we kept on saying sanitize, have a mask, but the children are saying, give it to us, we can't afford it, our families cannot afford it. And I like what she says. There are schools in Nairobi that have seen children not having masks. Not because they don't know what that mask is important, they simply cannot afford.
The Constitution and Reform Education Consortium recommends the government to assess the distribution of the 250,000 desks procured to establish gaps that still exist, as this will provide the status of schools with regards to how many more desks are required. More ICT teachers stationed in each school should be hired, and the Auditor General needs to provide an audit report to establish how the 6.5 billion shillings was utilized. Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
The ultimatum to collect 164 unclaimed bodies lying at the city mortuary. In a notice on Tuesday, Nairobi Metropolitan Services Deputy Director General Frederick Olunga warned that failure to identify and collect the bodies will see them interred at by the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. According to the public health, unclaimed bodies should be claimed within 2 weeks, failure to which they are disposed of to a mass grave. City Mortuary has a capacity to hold 176 bodies against the current 164. Let's get to matters health now, and the government will be rolling out a zero malaria campaign in 4 low-risk counties in central Kenya in a bid to achieve zero malaria cases in the country by the year 2030. This is according to the Ministry of Health, that says Kirinyaga, Laikipia, Nyandarua and Nyeri counties that were previously recording little or no malaria cases are now witnessing a rise in those cases.
To start eliminating or putting structures for eliminating malaria in 4 counties at the center of the country, that is Laikipia, Nyandarua, Kirinyaga and Nyeri. The reason these counties have been selected, number one, they have low number of cases of malaria. The incidence of malaria is low. And it is easier to eliminate where already the cases are low, to ensure that there are no cases appearing there. Majority of the cases that we see in those counties are what we call imported cases of people who have traveled where malaria transmission is happening. What we are saying, like the lake endemic regions, the counties around the lake, or the coast endemic region, the counties around the Indian Ocean. However, when people come from there or they travel there and come back, and they are the mosquitoes that spread malaria within those 4 counties, then malaria can begin to spread in those counties, because malaria spreads from one person who has malaria, who is bitten by a mosquito. The mosquito carries the malaria parasites and infects another person. So for us to be able to eliminate malaria is having very strong surveillance and even contact tracing, whereby we say that when you present to a facility, you have signs and symptoms of malaria, you are tested and diagnosed with malaria or put on treatment immediately. But also we look at the contacts, possibly the people you are living with in your household, and test them and treat them for malaria before they can act as a reservoir for the mosquito to be able to get the parasite and transmit to someone else. When we start with those 4 counties, we shall be including more and more counties targeting for elimination as we scale up our elimination activities, and with a target of ensuring that malaria has been eliminated from all counties by the year 2030.
Moving on, the United Nations Security Council members are considering involvement of the border UN membership to adopt a joint declaration aimed at ending the ongoing protests in Sudan, spiked by the Monday military coup, a revolt that has sparked swift international condemnation.
Following the ongoing demonstrations by defiant anti-coup protesters against military rule in Sudan, the United Nations Security Council convened in an emergency closed-door session Tuesday to address the crisis. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres had on Monday condemned the ongoing military coup, sentiments echoed by Volker Perthes, who is Guterres' special representative for Sudan, attending the conference virtually from Khartoum.
Everybody to exercise utmost restraint. I'm calling on the military to release all those that were unlawfully detained today, and I'm asking all stakeholders to return to dialogue and restore the constitutional order, as well as not to put domestic peace and political transition at risk.
Monday saw Sudan's top general Abdel Fattah al-Burhan declare a state of emergency after dissolving the civilian government leading the country's democratic transition. In a televised address, the general further announced the formation of a new government after soldiers detained civilian leaders, including Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok, who is still under house arrest. These saw protesters take to the streets of the capital Khartoum in demonstration against the power grab. Disarray promoted the African and European Unions to call for the Security Council meeting and the release of detained officials in Sudan. Volker has urged the 15 AU member countries to show unity since their statements influence Sudan politics.
Fire Committee for Darfur, which is chaired by UNITAMS, by my mission, did meet today with the representatives of the armed forces, the regular armed forces, and the representatives of the so-called peace partners or the signatories to the Juba Peace Agreement. And of course, it is our interest to maintain business as usual in that ceasefire committee in order to stabilize or continue to stabilize the situation.
The military coup comes amid rising tension between the military and civilian figures who shared power since August 2019, following the ouster of long-serving President Omar al-Bashir. Grace Josephine reporting for TV47.
Thank you, Grace Josephine, for that report. We are taking another short break here on TV47 News Tonight. Stay with us. We still have a lot lined up for you.
Oh, hi guys. Sorry, you found me 5 minutes before I started recording, but anyway, so most of you have been asking me why I started Lady CLC Nighting with Joy Rongo. I have also had my own share of pain. I know how it feels to want to give up. This is basically here to speak hope and inspire somebody who's going through a rough patch, to tell them that they can turn their pain into power. Our guests are normally here to share their experiences so that you can know somebody else did it, so you can also come out of it stronger and better. Let me go to my recording, and remember to always stay tuned every Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
Undertaking husband duties on a boyfriend tender.
Guys, with bromance, do you share your woman with the bro?
Have a sister, give me your sister. I show you how these things are done.
So you go release and be like,
Men supporting each other, not only financially, but also socially.
Don't mingle with women you can't deal with.
Is there really a formula for dating and marriage?
Some men are procreational, some men are recreational.
Every Wednesday on TV47, the Men's Conference brings you a cocktail of top-notch advice to breed alpha males for alpha females in the society.
Tunaweza tumia ite nje itrace hiyo do.
Mimi naitwa Ben. Mimi ndo rafiki ya babako.
Tumeleta dozi zako usiumize mtoto.
And now we have to deal with a drug addict.
Yaani ulio mzai wako. I had to.
Sema!
Dozi zangu ziko wapi?
Ben! Tuisheni Uganda.
The road to 2022 is becoming tougher and trickier with each passing day.
Na wawache kuja kutuletea makasiriko.
Political aspirants in a dilemma whether to change allegiance or not.
Nonetheless, you have justified your change of stance.
It's my bloody personal politics.
Tell them this. They could have gone to do law so that they become judges. They do not have the capacity, training, or skill to interpret a court order.
As a journalist, you have also had occasion to actually do some research. Read the judgment of
it's the nature of our job to have. The question is very specific.
Listen to me.
My question is very specific.
Every Monday at 9:30 p.m., Pundits Night brings you inclusive and candid conversations with the pundits. It just doesn't land on your plate. It takes hard work.
They require highly skilled labor.
Time.
8 months, and that means you have given it a lot of care, a lot of time.
And resources.
I remember I had invested so much in fertilizer, like I just didn't want anything to go wrong.
From a seed, seedling, to a fruit or vegetable, as well as a fertilized egg to a chicken, duck, or turkey. Here at Kilimo Diaries, Sandra Wahito takes us through it all every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Every successful business offers a solution to a problem. It could be eyewear for your visual needs, automotive for your car troubles, or even art for your creative spaces. Here at The Grind, Violet Njoki helps quiet all the business noises and make sense of it all with business advice.
The first thing is to start.
Tips.
They should be unique.
And ideas.
Put our product out there. Tunaiweka kwa social media.
Every Monday at 7:30 p.m.
Now, 32-year-old Victor Kiprono Ngeno, who is suspected to have defrauded members of the public in Nakuru while posing as a magistrate, will remain in police custody for 1 more week, awaiting a ruling on his bail application. He was arrested following a sting operation by detectives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Take a look.
Day of March 2018 and 31st day of December 2019 in Nakuru town within Nakuru County. With intent to defraud, jointly you obtained Kenya shilling 1,564,230 from Samuel Kipkerich Soy by falsely pretending that you were relatives to Cabinet Secretary on Charles Keter.
This accused person, the first accused person, may be required at the Eldoret law court. So for that reason, I did not deliver the ruling today. And then the second reason is that I happen to be the plea court. I may not be able to work through the ruling, and I don't know what they will be coming back from Eldoret. So for that reason, my ruling will be delivered on Tuesday next week.
We are most obliged.
For the first accused person. But for the second accused person, we can make an order that she can be released on her bond, of 1 million with a surety, alternative cash bail of 300,000. Most obliged.
Elsewhere, residents of Laikipia County have been urged to go for breast cancer screening for early detection and diagnosis, with the screening exercise set to run in the area for the next 2 days, targeting to screen over 200 women between the ages of 18 and 60.
Exercise ni mithemba mingi itiko to yanire hali kulima ni part ya exercise ya kugia cancer ni reka te ina ongerereka ne mauta maingi yetiguo ando itu na ori magikoroka makoroka na ngire yetiguo ndo mundu ngire arenda oyeke maundu oneke. Tulikuwa leo tumetarget akina mama. Ni vizuri kila mtu ambaye amepimwa akienda pale kwa community aelimisha wale wengine, ni vizuri kupimwa. Pia other stakeholders kwa serikali mzima, both private na public, tuchukue jukumu letu la kuelimisha community na kuwapima ili tuweze kupata shida kwa mapema na kuwatibu kwa mapema. Kwa hivyo ni jukumu la kila mmoja wetu kuchukua jukumu la kuelimisha, examine au screening ili tuweze kuwatibu mapema na tuzuie shida nyingi ambazo zinaweza kuja baada ya mtu kukaa na ina progress kutoka stage ya kwanza mpaka stage ya 4.
Nigiambia watu wasiogope, ukisikia uko na kale ka uvimbo ni heri ukibia kwa hospitali juu daktari atakusaidia.
Nimefurahia, tumesoma tukiwa wengi na tutaeneza mpaka kwa wenye wako nyumbani.
Akuja wapimwe ili wajue vizuri kama niyo ugonjwa. Ikiwa ni ugonjwa huyo, mtu tu apumulie.
Let's get to some business news. And business owners are now pegging on business revival following the presidential directive to lift the 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. curfew that has come as a reprieve for many after 1.5 years. Most of them have applauded the move, terming it as a boost to the sector, which has been reeling under the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Viwanda vidogo vidogo ambao zitaenda kufunguliwa kwa sababu zilikuwa zafungwa kwa sababu ya masaa na production ilikuwa inahitajika kufanyika masaa kama 24/7. Sasa ikifanyika masaa kidogo inakuwa faida iko chini. Kwa hivyo sasa zikafungwa, sasa naona zitafunguliwa zote na tutakuwa tuna heri tutaendelea mbele.
So vile sasa kafu imetolewa, tunafurahia sana. Tunashukuru rais kwa kuona kwamba tulikuwa naenda chini kwa kibiashara, bila alifungua. Sasa tunashukuru sana na tunafurahia kwamba tunaendelea na kazi na tuongeza muda ya kufanya kazi.
Kwa sababu at least kumeanza kuwa na pesa na furaha ya watu. Najua kuwa na furaha ya watu. Sasa watu wameanza kukuja, matunda inakuliwa. Tunaona niko na customer hapa. Mambo iko sawa kabisa. Naomba iendelee hivyo.
Elsewhere, Nakuru town is increasingly catching the eye of investors who are investing billions of shillings into the banking sector. Recent survey findings by various institutions show Nakuru is rising to become the most preferred region by investors as the country on its way to become the 4th city in Kenya. Chichi Josephine has the details.
Many other circles, some with big names. Kuna mambo matatu ambayo yanatufanya tuje pamoja kuombea Unison Circle. Jambo la maono na kaianzisha na kaona ni vyema tupate branch hapa Nakuru ambao wanaenda kushirikiana na wao, na katika hii sura ya pili mstari wa kuta wa Yerusalemu. Changamoto ilikuwa ni kwamba hii kazi hangeweza kuifanya peke yake, na maono yalikuwa ni kwamba Mungu amempatia jukumu aweze kusimama kama mtu ambaye tunamuita cup bearer. Na kule alipokuwa akifanya kazi alikuwa uhamishoni. Nilipokuwa nikitazama maandiko, ni very much disturbed that someone had come to promote of my God was with me.
Thank you. And now Chairman is going to open doors. Waziri atakuwa
mambo yako yote, hata picha yako sasa hapo pale.
Elsewhere, as the Kenya Association of Women in Tourism marked its 10th anniversary celebrations in Mombasa, the association has called for the empowerment of more women in the tourism sector, which has more than 60% of the workforce in the tourism industry being made up of women.
Our membership has continued to grow. In fact, during the pandemic, our membership grew tremendously compared to the previous years. So we are happy to know that women want to be identified with us and women want to belong, because this association empowers and mentors the youth, and even amongst ourselves. We have grown, we have learned, and we are able to just support one another in all that we do. It's an empowerment forum.
I'm happy and proud to see that we support women in this sector, especially with mentorship, capacity building, and also